How's that? Yeah, no, it's not. Step back. We did. Okay. You have to do the Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Words of Pearls. I shouldn't be having any technical difficulties, but for some reason, I just did. How have you been? I wasn't on last week. I had, some family things to do, but here I am this week. And I pray that you had a good week and that, today's a good day for you as well. But if you haven't, I trust that it will be better. I want to bring your attention to something. I have not given this section of this tonight's Words of Pearls a title. By the way, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Chang-Ageda. I will upload this message to my YouTube page, Chang-Ageda. I want to have a little discussion with you, not a lengthy one, but a discussion nonetheless, on a more serious note. How important it is for us to have good mental health, to be mentally well. I know that this in 3 John, let me just read that, and I'm going to start with that. It says, "Dear friend, I hope that all is well with you and that you're as healthy in your body as you're strong in your spirit." And so, our spirit, our mental wellness in our minds, to not be mentally well can also affect us physically, right? Emotionally, it affects us, right? But the reason why I'm talking about this tonight specifically is a newscast that I came across, and it's about Lashawn Thompson. He was 35 years old. He was in an Atlanta jail. I forgot the county in Atlanta, but he was in an Atlanta jail for 3 months. Now, I don't know who of you have heard this or seen the video or seen the newscast, but he died, I think, 8 months ago. So he died in 2022. However, after being there 3 months after being in jail. Now, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. He was put in jail for a misdemeanor battery. That's a misdemeanor battery. However, when they arrested him, they knew that he had mental health. He was diagnosed with a mental disorder. And so he was placed in the psychiatric wing of the jail. Now, I don't know what jail that is. I don't live in Atlanta, but that jail really needs to be demolished. They need to have, if you're going to imprison folks, it is so dehumanizing. And if you're imprisoning folks for, well, he was mentally, uh he had mental issues, and then he committed some kind of a misdemeanor, and he was arrested for that and put in jail. But he was put in jail and left for dead because, as far as I learned, when you're placed in the in the psychiatric ward, you're supposed to be checked on every 2 hours. Now, when I tell you what this guy died from, his body was covered with sores from bites from that he received from bed bugs and lice. Bed bugs and lice. Now, if you see the pictures that were released, there were fecal matter, feces. It was just atrocious. It was horrid. It was inhumane the way he was treated, not because someone is not sound in their mind. I mean, clearly, if it's a misdemeanor battery, maybe if he didn't have the mental disorder, he probably wouldn't have gotten into the problem, wouldn't have gotten into a tussle or whatever it was that he was arrested for. What are we doing with folks? We need to have a better system that, for those who are struggling with different mental maladies, that, I also learned, when was this? Was it last year? I think it was, yeah, it was last year, 2022, because it was, I think, the Hanukkah, yeah, where I learned about a young lady who, it was that time of year, family was coming, and whatever she was going through, she wanted herself to be checked into a mental institution because she just didn't feel right, right? Because she was struggling. Let me tell you, we fight against each other for the wrong things, really, because we as humanity, so many of us are fractured, right? We've gone through issues, and the brokenness in people starts at home. So whatever it was, she was stressed out by family members coming in, especially certain family members, and she just wanted to have a handle on it, to not, have a breakdown when they were there. And she asked to be checked into a mental institution, but she just wanted to be checked in, checked over, and just to feel safe. Well, 72 hours had passed and they wouldn't release her. And, I don't know what became of that, but the thing about it is, uh, when folks are going through uh, mental maladies, just not feeling right, just needing to get a hold on, reality, a hold on life, just holding it together, because there's so many stressors in society, right? um on the job, at home, everywhere nowadays, right? The fears that are, feeling unsafe, right? For some folks, feeling unsafe, not feeling, or just having, whatever the bursts may be, the highs, the lows, going through things. The news can cause one to be a little bit imbalanced, if when you think about everything that is happening in the news, if you hear that day in, day out, day in, day out, for some. So, having boundaries, setting up, having, like, if family members or people that you acquaint yourself with stress you out, just to be within proximity of them or to speak to them, then you have to set up boundaries. They can't have access to you like that, right? Because if this is going to be the result, God forbid, you're at Thanksgiving, you're at Hanukkah dinners, you're at a birthday celebration, a wedding or funeral or whatever large gathering that families gather at, and someone triggers you, and maybe you can break a glass, break a plate, or not saying you should, but I'm saying if you do that, and then the person says, wait a minute, you've just done this, or maybe someone called the police, and then you're taken to jail. What kind of a death was this to be eaten? His body was covered, like covered. The prison, I can't remember the county, but you can Google it. I'm sure it's on YouTube and everywhere else. That whatever that jail is, it has to go. I mean, I don't live in Atlanta, but I'm saying it has to go. And I saw a report that said, like, I think 17 or 18 inmates within certain counties where they have the jails, are die. I don't know what they went in for, but if something's a misdemeanor, if someone has a mental health issues that they go in for, to jail for, then I don't think being left to be eaten. And why is it lice and or flea or whatever bed bugs infested prison? How's that legally being run? How I'm like, it is so inhumane, so inhumane. So I just want to say, and I just want to appeal. His family members said they weren't even aware that he was in jail. Because he has the mental issues. He does call into his family from time to time. However, they didn't know. The last time the brother and sister spoke to him, they said was before he had gone to jail, so they weren't aware. And when you have family members, it's not an easy walk. I've known of folks who've had to go search for their relatives. They would, if they don't hear from them in 2 days, a day, a day would skip, they would go search for them. And it's always good to keep in touch with relatives, with friends, with loved ones, because not the ones stressing you out, though. Not the ones stressing you out. You've got to create borders with those. You've got to, maybe what you would do is send a text, but if you know you're going to receive something that's not good, then maybe you just want to leave that person alone or those persons alone. But check on loved ones and make sure they're well. And if you yourself feel unwell, make sure there are counselors, there are therapists, EMDR now, that is helping folks with trauma, PTSD. If you've served in any of the armed forces, if you've been through difficult divorces, if you're in a difficult marriage, if you have been abused, if you've had any form of trauma, whether it's your parents have abused you or treated you poorly when you were younger, you've been, rejected or denied, or, whatever the issue, do not let that stigmatize you, because that's not who you are. Your trauma is not you. Your adversities aren't you. Sometimes it's health issues that also causes or may exacerbate an issue that may trigger or flare, some kind of a mental issue. But don't let anyone shame you into not getting help. God said, I did not give you the spirit of fear, but power, love, and self-control, sound mind. And so he wants us to have that control, that That's that sound mind, that sanity that keeps us together. He said, I'll keep your mind in Isaiah 26. That was 3 John 1 was the first. And first, he didn't give us the spirit of fear, 2 Timothy 1 and 7. And Isaiah 26 and 3, God says, I will keep your mind in perfect peace, whose mind are stayed on me. And, I know that there are those who may say, well, you know, like I don't believe you. Well, listen, the word of God will will help you to have sound mind. Seriously. If you feel unwell, I'm not saying do seek counseling, get good counseling, right? Not the kind that's going to have you regress, right? Or remain in a deliberate unproductive lifestyle, right? Because after all, we seek help to get better, right? So get the kind of counseling that will help you to move forward in life, to be able to function, right? And so if you have to take medication, then you do that. However, play some Bible while you're taking your meds. Play the Bible while you're traveling or before you go to therapy, whatever it is. I'm telling you, you'll see the peace that it gives you, because God said the peace he gives you surpasses human understanding, right? It does help. I just don't want to hear another new newscast or read of something happening like this. Who checked on him? Who are the guards that are in the prison? Who were they? Are we such an apathetic society? Do we truly not care about each other as human beings? Are we not of one race, the human race? So I just wanted to share and say, guys, stay healthy. Um, make sure you're well. Fight to have sound mind if you feel like you don't, because to go that way, to go that way, no one should. No one should. There is no excuse. And I hope that all those who, for the 3 months that he was there, there has to be some accountability. There has to be accountability. Who checked on him? Who brought him food? It was deplorable to see the conditions. And I in one of the newscasts I heard that the one of the newscasters said that the guard who went to that found him deceased did wouldn't perform CPR on him because of how he was. Guys, there are nursing homes that don't treat, unfortunately, and this is true. So I was closing, but this part just came. Whenever I've found this, if folks, whether it's your child in school, it's a relative in the hospital, in the nursing home, or in the jail, whatever the institution is that you have a loved one, if they don't have folks that are looking out for them, if as a parent you limit your conversation with the teacher of your child, if it's a loved one in the hospital, because most folks are just about their paychecks, not all, mind you. There are some very sympathetic and people who have empathy. There are folks who do care. There are people who are compassionate, who will care for your loved ones. But then there are those who just absolutely, not only don't they care, they will also abuse them. So if you do care, I suggest reach out. However, take care of yourself first, because you don't know who you'll come up against. And that is sad. So I pray that everyone who hears this message, and if you feel there is someone who should hear it, it will be on my YouTube channel under Flow, FLO, Chang-Ageda. So that's where you'll find it. Go there, like, subscribe, and share. But seriously, share with those who really need it. I am so serious about this. And just remember, I pray that you will be in good mental health, good emotional health, good physical health, good financial health, and good spiritual health. I just want you to be whole, holistically, whole all the way around, because an empty pot cannot pour anything into a cup. Take care of yourself. You don't know who's coming up against you, who you're going to run into. There's just not of the right. Don't care. Just will not care about who you are. But know that even when they don't care, God certainly cares about you. He really does. And he will put someone in your path who cares about you as well. So with that being said, I'm just going to check on my, let me check my Facebook just to see if anyone's watching this live. If not, I'll just shout you out. If not, I'll sign off and just pray that everyone who sees this, that you're good, because you need to be. Okay, so no one's on, so have yourself a wonderful evening, morning, noon, or night. Whenever this message reaches you, I pray that it finds you in good health. And if you're not, that shortly thereafter, you will be. Love you guys.